Howdy folks, this morning's soap is from Maggard Razors. This is orange menthol. If you're kind of particular about your labels, I like it like this so that when they're stacked you can see them. Right now the majority of my soap's in tubs, so sorted tubs in order to have it all stored. I ran into issues with the new location, have enough room to store all my stuff. I have it whipped up here with this brush is a horsehair brush I got from eBay quite some time ago. It's got a pretty cool handle. I got 3 of them, these with these cool looking handles, horsehair. They do shed a little bit, but lather up really quick. In other words, I'm willing to overlook the shedding issue because it just lathers up really quick. This bowl is a what they call a Serbace bowl. Got it at a thrift store. Matter of fact, my bowls that are like this do come from thrift store. We just go through thrift stores from time to time and find what we call treasures. Alum block without the rubber band. Unscented witch hazel, mentholated though. And I'm going to follow up with my son's favorite aftershave from Fine Accoutrements. And still using the Shaven Sailor Beard oil. And the shaving community I'm a part of on Google Plus, Artisan Shaving, I posted a short little explanation on how to use beard oil, at least their version of it. I do this from time to time when I find articles like this, because face it, when you're shaving you don't hear much about beard care. Not everybody shaves their whole entire face or whatever, so they might be interested in what do people use and how to use various products. I'm going to use a cube again today. I think I'm going to continue using this until I run out. Then I might revert back for a while with my, I guess you might say, my original way of doing things before I started using Preshave soap. My insect bite there is swelling has gone down quite a bit. Going to try to make sure that I don't open that cut up again, or nick, or whatever you want to call it. Matter of fact, it pretty much had stopped bleeding the other day. The soap kind of helped out, I think. Help control some of that bleeding. As it goes for shaving bowls, my favorite shaving bowl, you might see me use it from time to time, is a red ceramic shaving bowl that I got at a thrift store. And I really like it mainly because of the shape. The shape is really nice. It's got a pedestal type bottom to it, easy to hang on to. Couldn't tell you who made it. The wording on the bottom is difficult to read. I can tell you that it does come from Germany. But outside of that, I really don't know who made it. And I think it's I would almost say vintage. Because I think if it's who I think it is, this maker's been around for a while. In other words, long enough to back where there was East and West Germany. And I think some of their products are made in Spain, but I'm just not 100% sure that this is the maker. And at any rate, Jimmy was asking about a bowl, and I know at some point in time I got 2 ceramic bowls, and I'm going to drop one of them, and it's going to be a sad day that day. And a plastic bowl would definitely be the route to go, because that way you can use it while you're at home and while you're traveling. Today's shaver is a Treet single edge shaver. I have a gem blade in it that's Teflon coated. I'll go ahead and take it out so that you might be able to see that it says Treet on the inside there. And it has a cap at the bottom. I have a gem, looks very much like this, but it doesn't have a cap on the bottom. Thought that was kind of interesting. Not too sure. I like the cap just because of how it looks. The gem one. I'll shave with it tomorrow. Without the cap, it's recessed up in there. Not necessarily hollow, but you can tell that it goes back up in there a little ways. If you're kind of, how you say, anal about that sort of thing, stuff getting up in there and having to clean it out, so on and so forth. Don't know, yeah, that's red, and then the black looks cool. Don't see very many of these shavers. I only have, like I say, I only got the two that are bakelite handles. So in other words, they're going to be kind of lightweight, but if there's going to be a shaver that I'm going to hang on to as I get older, these would be the one, because they are easier to hang on to. It's not uncommon, especially the way my household rolls, that the strength in your hands will start to go away, and hanging on to things will be a little bit more of an issue. And with the diameter of this and being lightweight, at least lightweight in the handle, it will be easier to hang on to. And the weight is definitely at the head. So your balance point is definitely going to be way up here towards where the head's at. But for me, it doesn't seem to affect the shave any. And it probably won't on a shaver like this, because of the way it's designed. Because the way you're holding the angle and how you're working it, the weight would be more in the giving it weight for the shaver to pull through your whiskers and using the sharpness of the blade. But to me, it's a relatively easy shaver to get used to. Especially once you find one that, find the blade that works best for you. Now I know some folks have a hard time finding that blade and may not be able to find that blade. There's not very many of them available to be choosing from. It'll be kind of ginger right there, because it's still kind of tender right through there. It swelled up pretty good, and I know this probably has more to do with the bite than it did the cut. But back to the bowls. Later on today, I'm going to be watching at least one football game today, or at least listening to it. You know, college football started this week, and Oklahoma State's already played and they won their first game, and OU plays today, and I'm at least going to listen to it. I'm going to try to watch it if I can find the channel. As it goes for TV, we're one of those cord cutters. I do not have cable TV or satellite TV. I have the basic antenna over the air. So if I can find it on the channel, I think I'm going to be able to pick up that channel. I think it's going to be over the air on one of the channels that I can pick up like that. Otherwise, I'll pick it up on the radio. Which to me, after especially years of working right in the evenings where most of the TV programming is going on that I'm interested in watching, end up listening to the radio, so I'm quite accustomed to doing that sort of thing on the radio. Works just fine for me. The commentary on a football game, a sporting event, to me seems to be better on the radio. Here locally, the guys are more apt to give you a honest opinion about what's going on during the game instead of waiting until halftime. Usually I could tell sometimes by the way the comments are going, the tone, how it's going. But there's a website. I need to get back to the shaving bowl. I've seen Chris Bailey shave use it not shave with it, but use it during a shave. And it has interest me. I've seen it a few times. There's actually two bowls that kind of interest me in the way of bowls. One is called the shave bowl, and it's a two-piece where you could put some more hot water inside, then you sit your bowl down inside, got a place for your razor and your brush and all that sort of thing. That one there kind of interests me, as well as the one that Timeless has. Now, as it goes for the grooves, anything like that, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence whether that really helps or not. I have bowls with grooves in them, and I have my favorite bowl that does not have a groove in it. Smooth bottom. And it whips up just fine on a smooth bottom. Whips up fine with the grooves. I can't really tell the difference, to be honest with you. The biggest difference, I think, in between the two, if you're a daily shaver, and I still, even on a smooth bottom bowl, a certain amount of that soap will stay there. In other words, when I scrape it out of the container and I press it down into the bowl, a certain amount of it will still stay there. Because I don't put just, how can you say, a small amount or a tiny amount. I put a good helping of soap in there. So there's always going to be some soap still in there. That's, I guess you might say, stuck to the bottom, if you will, or the sides. And with the grooves, or anything like that, some soap might decide to hang around a little bit longer. And if you're a daily shaver, and let's say you're shaving, you know, with the same soap, or even if you vary your soap and you're not that concerned about the scents interfering with each other, per my nose it doesn't. A smooth bottom bowl worked just fine. And if you see that the groove one might hang on to that soap a little bit longer, so I could see the advantage of that. Now, whether it lathers quicker, this bowl here has small grooves in the bottom of it, and I don't know that it lathers it any quicker than my smooth bottom bowl. Can tell you though, even though this knot has a tendency to shed from time to time, it lathers really nice. Nice size knot. But the Timeless one, it comes in a bright blue color, kind of intrigues me just a bit. But if you're looking for something a little bit further, I guess you might say out of the norm, you only want one bowl in your shaved in. You only got enough room for one bowl. And if you're in an area like I am, it gets really hot during the summer and relatively cold during the winter. We don't stay below freezing very long usually here in Oklahoma. But the wind chill usually eats you up though. That's the part that gets you. But a scuttle from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements is a travel scuttle. Would be one to look at. That's the one my dad has, and I think that's how can you say, a good mix in between. You can still use it during the summer. Don't have to put water in. Use the inside part as your bowl, and then during the winter, you know, then you got your scuttle. So in other words, it serves two purposes. And it's plastic. And if you've seen some of Douglas's demonstrations with that scuttle, dropping it off of a tall building and see it bounce, that's what sold my dad. And he went ahead and got one. Because, like I say, at some point in time you're going to drop it. It's going to happen. It may be a while, but you're going to drop it. And if it's ceramic, you're going to be awfully darn sad. Because you're so used to that bowl, and if you're like me, it's a thrift store find, and finding another one like that's going to be pretty tough, especially for $1. But if you're looking at something more long term and trying not to have a bathroom full of shaving bowls, plastic might be the way to go. if you frequent Walmart or if you eat Mexican, the sauce that they put in those little plastic bowls, usually you find those at Walmart. Those are pretty inexpensive. I think I picked mine up on sale and I used it for a travel one time, and it was on sale and I got it for 50 cents. Better than $1, huh? And it's a little short. It's not a very deep bowl, in other words, but it works just fine. And it's not, it's quote unquote smooth in the bottom, but it's rough. It's got a rough texture to it. I'm trying to make sure I did all right there. I don't think I showed what the soap looked like now I get to thinking about it. I got this one here, and you kind of say it's missing a wee bit, but when it comes to scents like this, I really like it. The orange just rolls right out, and you can smell, you can pick up the menthol. But soaps like this, lime, lemon, easy for me to pick up on. The complex scents, most of the time I can't pick out what I'm smelling. I just know I like it. It smells great. I like the straightforward scents. I don't feel so bad when I can't smell. I know I can smell what it's supposed to, and after that I don't feel so bad. The complex ones, I can't really describe it usually, unless I can pick up the fact that it's bright, light, dark, deep, heavy. That's about as good as it gets with the scents. Jill was asking about Barbado. My opinion, especially considering I think it's the container 6.4 ounces, which usually aftershave comes right around the 3.4, and paying $20 for over 6 ounces of aftershave. And this aftershave, Barbado's good. It does what it's supposed to. What it does for the face. Oh, my opinion is, if not the best, one of the best on the market. The only thing I pick up on the way of a scent with Barbado is what's naturally occurring from the ingredients. I don't pick up a citrus or anything like that. I know some had commented that's what they smell. I really don't smell the citrus. It could be there and my nose is just not picking it up. Still stinging just a little bit right there when I shaved over it. I didn't open it up, but I probably irritated it just a little. Doesn't look too bad from what I can see in the mirror and what the camera's picking up. Not too bad. Doing alright. I should say, as it goes for the shaver, this is down on the medium aggressive, upper end of the mild. I would not call this an aggressive shaver by any means, but if you find one, might be worth checking out, because usually they don't run too terribly expensive unless there's one that happens to be in a pristine shape. I went a little bit higher for this one just because it's a treat as opposed to a gem, and that, and I noticed that it had a cap on the bottom. I thought that contrasted color looked pretty good. Talking about how long ago these were made, if you can find one, might be worth checking out. The thickness of that handle might surprise you on how it feels in your hand. You might actually like it. Most of our shavers, the handles are kind of small in diameter, not very big. And to have one that's big like this one here is pretty nice. I probably should have, back when I first started noticing, Merkur had well, at least two that I remember, more or less one shaver with two different color handles. One was red and one was blue. Big ones that had places for your fingers to fit in the grooves. And here of late, I've noticed that they're not easy to find. And back when I first noticed them, I probably should have picked one up then, because now they're hard to find, and I'm sure somebody, if they're going to sell it, they're probably going to, want you to pay out the nose for them, because there's just not very many of them out and about. Matter of fact, I can't tell you the last time I saw a shave of day with one. This reason why this is my son's favorite is because his girlfriend likes it. I'm sure if you've been keeping up with Fine's aftershave, you notice that their aftershave containers have changed. I do not have one of them, so I don't know if it's for the better or not. I do like the glass containers. This one here, because I can put my little finger underneath it to help me hang on to it when your hands are wet. I have to say this is not a bad container by any means, so I don't know if the change in the container was an improvement. One of these days here pretty soon, Figaro, the gold version, that aftershave, the way the bottle is made, is concaved towards the middle, makes it really easy to hang on to, even if your hands are wet. To me, that was an ingenious design. I had a really good shave. This went really well. Back to bowl lathering, something I'm more comfortable with. But I know I can face lather if I have to, if I decide not to take a bowl with me. Hope everybody does well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.